Mark Donica here for Popcorn Talk, talking about Laser Team with Burnie Burns, one of the stars and producers and writers.
A little slash. Yeah, a lot of different stuff, yeah.
A lot of different stuff, man of many hats. Dumb reference. So with, in your announcement video, you talked about you've been planning the movie for a long time. How long has the movie actually been in production?
Well, Laser Team in particular has probably been the last, I'd say like 3 or 4 years we've had that particular idea that we've been pitching around the office. But the idea to make a feature film is something that's been, you know, since day one of Rooster Teeth, we've been wanting to get back to making feature films because Matt and I, the first project that we ever worked on, Matt Hullum, who's the director of Laser Team, we met to work on a feature film. That's the first project we ever worked on together. Before we, honestly, we even knew each other. We got together to make that movie. And we got to know each other pretty well over the course of 13 months of making that movie. So
that's great. With this being the first of presumably many Rooster Teeth film productions, is there any sort of idea for pre-existing Rooster Teeth content to be brought to the big screen?
Well, we've always made shows at Rooster Teeth that we thought fit the format in which we were putting them out. We're pretty what we call format agnostic, where we don't say, okay, we're setting out to make a film, right? Even though we always had aspirations to make like a big feature film or something like that, we wouldn't say like, okay, we want to make a film, which of these properties that we have can we develop into one?
Yeah.
You know, we have ideas, and something like Laser Team makes a lot more sense as a movie than it does as an episodic series. The next episodic series that I'm working on for Rooster Teeth is actually going the other way. I'm taking the original movie that Matt and I worked on together, and I'm now developing a series that's episodic based on a feature film.
Super cool. And also the cinematic cuts of the Red vs. Blue and Ruby, everything, it fits all together so well despite being episodic. So I think you guys always have that mindset of a film, like creating scenes as episodes as opposed to episodes that are just tail-ended.
It's definitely part of our genetics. I mean, when we approach a thing like Ruby or Red vs. Blue, which are a big episodic animated series, we write them like a feature and we shoot them like a feature, but then when we go to put them out online, we chop them up into episodes. And there's some certain things we have to do, like writing episodes in such a way that it's clear there's like something about to happen, which you wouldn't really do in the pacing of a movie. So we have to do some of that kind of stuff. But really, we approach it a lot like feature filmmaking. We always have.
Okay. With in the film, you have the shield attachment of the team. What in you, Burnie? What would you use more? Any piece of the suit. What piece of the suit would you want for day-to-day life?
For day-to-day life?
Day-to-day life.
I think probably, honestly, the boots.
The boots? That's what Colton said.
Yeah, because the boots were actually, you know, we got a feeling for how impractical this would be because we had these pieces on, you know, for months. You know, we were wearing these things. And the shield was great because it actually had a hand that I could use.
That's cool.
The laser, Michael Jones did not have a hand that he could use. Like literally, like he couldn't do anything until somebody came over and like took the laser off of him. And the one thing though about the shield, which is why I wouldn't want it in real life, is didn't realize this in writing it, but the shield guy then becomes essentially the punching bag for the entire team.
First person on the line.
Yeah. You're up front. You're the first line of defense, literally. And so I ended up like in situations, well, in this scene, we're going to knock you back 50 feet. It's like, oh, okay. So I definitely could say after having experience as having the shield, I would not take it in real life. No. Okay. I would pass.
With the film's release schedule is winter this year, correct?
That's the plan, yeah.
Okay. Is how much of a theatrical release are you guys planning to do with it?
Oh, you know, we'd like to do as much as we can. You know, the big obligation that we have is to the backers of the crowdfunding campaign because they made the movie possible. So we just have to make sure we structure something in such a way that, you know, the backers that can see it, regardless of where they are in the world, that they can see it as soon as possible. But Matt's working on a whole thing with our company. They're getting the distribution all lined up, so hopefully you'll be able to see it in theaters and, you know, and on demand and everywhere else.
Digital shortly after,
sure.
Something like that.
It's a whole new world now. In fact, when we first started the crowdfunding campaign, we knew that would be one of the big questions. And I had to say, 12 months ago, this movie's going to take about 12 to 18 months to get done. And I can't sit here and tell you how content is going to be distributed in 12 to 18 months because everything is changing so rapidly. And if I could tell you exactly how content is going to be delivered a year and a half from now, I can make a whole lot of money, you know, in a whole different industry. Yeah, exactly. If I can make that prediction. So we knew all along that we'd have to kind of like be adaptive and roll with the punches as to whatever the environment was going to look like at that time.
That's good. It's very, very community centric. That's as Rooster Teeth has always been. and I think they're going to eat up this movie hook, line, and sinker. The trailer itself is just a wonderful teaser.
Thanks.
How would you describe this? How would you try to get the general movie audience into this film?
Well, I love all of our shows. I think are based on a philosophy that I love, which is ordinary people in extraordinary situations. And for us, ordinary people means people that are basically, a little bit less than ordinary, that don't quite hit that average bar. We like dumb characters that have big abilities and big opportunities. And Red vs. Blue is a lot like that. Huge hit for Rooster Teeth over the years. And so while Laser Team is not based on Red vs. Blue, it definitely, calls out some of those hallmarks that we love and the audience loves about the series. But for somebody who's never seen a Rooster Teeth production, one of the things that we wanted to be very careful about was we didn't want people to think that we were making a parody of a superhero movie, or that we were trying to parody like a sci-fi movie even, just because, sci-fi movies and comic book movies are so big now. We're not doing that. We modeled a lot after Ghostbusters, like no pun intended, spiritually. We modeled after that because I love Ghostbusters. I think it's a classic movie for a lot of people. And I don't think anybody was going to walk out of a movie theater after having seen Ghostbusters and said, "Wow, I just saw a really great parody of a horror movie." That's not what it is. It's a comedy, and then it happens to have those supernatural elements in it. But it's not a parody of anything. No. And neither is Laser Team.
It's good to hear. You brought in Alan Ritchson and Colton Dunn to be a part of the production. And we've seen Colton as a part of, he's an X-Ray and Vav, he's done $1 Million Butt, a whole bunch of series. How much more are they going to be involved in Rooster Teeth moving forward?
Well, we would love to work with Alan and Colton and Ali DeBerry, who's also in the movie. We'd love to work with all of them as much as we possibly can. It was a really fun part of the process to watch people who have done very well in traditional Hollywood media and to show them like what we're doing online. And all of them have really embraced it. I mean, they've all loved it. Colton and Alan are here at RTX. Ali's busy on a production right now. But, they come out, they've come on our live streams. They've both participated in many different shows, like some of our Let's Plays. Colton's been on our $1 Million Butt show, which is really goofy hypothetical scenario show that we have. So they've really embraced it, and I would love to work with them as much as we possibly can.
So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
It's a wonderful interview. So you can make sure to follow us on Popcorn Talk Network on Twitter, where we talk movies.